If I were to be on a certain team, I would be on the team of moons made our cryptocurrency worst, just because I see a lot of effort being made towards farming moons and towards earning moons. And I see a devolution going on into the echo chamber model rather than the discussion and honest, unbiased thinking. Because, yeah, you have a lot of people optimizing for saying things that the community would like rather than challenging their thought positions. Are they are there any efforts being made by Reddit itself or the moderation or the community? I'm not that familiar with the internal politics of this, but are there any efforts to like fight off cryptocurrency becoming an echo chamber?
That's a good question. So I would say, I guess the one thing I want to preface this with is that I don't think the moons are the cause of this problem. I think that's just, I think the cryptocurrency subreddit largely has been like this for a very long time. And it's not just the cryptocurrency subreddit. It's been the case that people, you have groups of people that are trying to usually in the cryptocurrency subreddit's case, if they're trying to show a certain agenda or coin. So people will show up and they will, like, let's say, heavily promote something. And so as a result, we have we're lucky to have one of the best anti-vote manipulation is what it's called, teams, where we've reported at times things to the Reddit admins, and they have gone through based off the reports we made and banned thousands of accounts that are like all trying to promote things, make comments in certain ways, shill things in certain ways. Like, we're not the only, like, you might think, okay, cryptocurrency subreddit is probably the worst with people trying to shill certain agendas, but Reddit itself has to deal with a lot of these problems with a lot of the political subreddits where people are like, sure, they're not directly interested in trying to shill a coin to pump it to make money, but there's a lot of other factors at play, right? Where people are trying to push very, certain political agendas. So we're wary of the idea that moons might help promote the idea of an echo chamber, but these are problems we've already had to deal with, I suppose, for many, many years, where, usually what happens is you get a group of people together and they'll just upvote anything, regardless of the quality of the content, if it points the project that they like or invested in, or like in a positive light, like if it paints it in a positive light, they'll just be like, yep, I disagree, but still upvote because I want to, support my bag. So those are challenges we've had to deal with for a while. And I think that just speaks to why it's important that we have moderation that's based on the idea of just how are people interacting with the subreddit? Are they trying to actually contribute to the subreddit? Are they just trying to shill their bag? What are they trying to do? And making sure that it is in part trying to actually like help out, like provide quality, useful content. And that's obviously back and forth. There's no straightforward, easy answer to that. And that's why we have, we use moons to incentivize things that aren't just shilling certain coins, right? Like we try to do fun things like trivia where people learn things. We try to do, incentivizing people dealing with those prediction systems. And I think that you're never going to have it, like this will never be a solved problem. So if people have ideas about how they can try to reduce echo chamber effect, we're certainly all ears. Going back to the whole reason why I was a mod in the first place to start and making the release of like pros and cons wiki pages for each coin, like those are the sorts of things we do to try and discourage echo chambery stuff.
I'd also say that echo chambers are a very inherent property of social media and of human interaction in general, right? Like we tend to gravitate to those that confirm our own biases rather than.
Well, I would say too, I mean, I agree, but I would say don't just look at the cryptocurrency subreddit in isolation too. Look at it compared to other communities also. So if you take the cryptocurrency discussion, like, okay, even, let's take a coin like Nano, which is very heavily promoted. It has a history of being a very disproportionately promoted, for example,
which one,
in the cryptocurrency subreddit.
Which one was that?
Nano.
Nano, yeah.
Right. It's very, Nano has characteristics that are very easy for a newcomer to share and point out the positive light on. It's cheap, it's accessible. It's very easy to shill, so to speak, right? And so the distribution model put it in the hands of a lot of the cryptocurrency subreddit users back in like 2016, 2017, or whatever it happened, right? So it's compare the discussions you have on Nano, which still often are disproportionately positive in the cryptocurrency subreddit, but compare that to the discussion you're going to have in nano currency, right? Which one's going to be a little bit more unbiased, right? At least in the cryptocurrency subreddit, you do have, like, sure, you get people that just are like, oh, this saves the world, whatever. But like, I don't think it's the extreme of being, okay, what's exclusively in favor of something or exclusively in like the Bitcoin Twitter side of things where it's exclusively negative. I do think that we haven't solved for the right balance, but I do think that compared to other cryptocurrency communities out there, I don't really know where you're going to get a better place to speak where it isn't extreme on really any end. So I think that does speak to us to, having done something right, even if we haven't solved for the problem.
I mean, and I have to agree with you that in this big community, at least you'd get some pushback if you try to push the edges towards steering people's opinion, right? Even the hardcore Bitcoin maximalist, although most people in cryptocurrency would be pro Bitcoin, even the Bitcoin maximalist will get some pushback in that subreddit that he wouldn't get in a purely Bitcoin subreddit or in other subreddits. You mentioned the efforts towards avoiding manipulation on Reddit. And I'm very curious about this one particular case. I don't know if you remember it from now we're going full gossip mode. Sorry, I'm Mexican. Now we're going into this case. Man, I remember this Caracas girl user, and she was posting about like how she was using all these moons rewards that she was getting, and she would also include a couple of cryptocurrency addresses for people to send her crypto in order to buy food for people in Venezuela, where like $1 would go a long way. And I remember seeing this and thinking, okay, this is pretty cool. But like some people were calling her out on like being a scam or whatever, and then she disappeared. So I wanted to know if you knew something about what happened with this.
So that particular case doesn't ring a bell, but no? We do generally not allow for like, we may make rare exceptions if people provide proof, but we don't allow people to post like donation addresses and the like, just because the sad truth is, even though you do have very, very good initiatives by people who are being honest, I mean, when there's no cost to make a fake one, people are just going to make fake ones all the time, right? So we don't allow that. We have at times promoted certain charities, but we generally don't allow for people to post like donation addresses on the subreddit.
Are there any other cases of like, I'm not saying that this one was manipulation, I was just curious because it was sort of obvious that it could be if it wanted to be, and people certainly were calling it out. And at the same time, she managed to get a decent amount of funds that if she used to, if she even was searching, if she used to feed people in Venezuela, like that's of course a very loable cause. But would you recall any other instances of manipulation that were particularly clever or that at some point managed to get you guys?
Oh, yes, yeah, absolutely. So it's been a while since I've written one of these, but I've written a few articles that I called Shit Shills Say. I just put them on Medium, and it just goes through like some of the crazy stories. At this point, they're several years old, but one example, a cryptocurrency news website of, let's just say, low quality. It definitely was low quality. Maybe it was average for cryptocurrency news. So it was very low quality to begin with. They tried to get around our URL like domain filters by purchasing, I believe it was about 50 different domains. Wow. And using bots to repost news content using those domains redirected to their main domain. And they use like various tricks to try and do that. So in order to deal with that problem, we just went through and manually banned like 50 odd plus domains that they had, right? So like that's an example where someone really tried to go out of their way to evade the rules of the subreddit. Or we've had people that have made like there are some very obviously against the Reddit terms of services out there that will try to like upvote certain things with different accounts or provide comments or downvote everything else to try and promote your thing indirectly. And we probably get that a little bit more than many other subreddits. So at times we'll notice, okay, well, usually it's pretty obvious, right? I'd have to go through what I did on there's a few, we sometimes get some funny messages from people that are like, you know, the common one is they think that the subreddit is their location for like freedom of speech, or they don't understand what's wrong with linking something somewhere else and telling everyone to go upvote it somewhere else. And so then we ban them. And so really the most common things we get is people linking things on like in Telegram or Discord communities saying to upvote here and then just not understanding why we don't want that. And honestly, it's usually like that's the process that happens about 90% of the time. And usually they're pretty easy to spot people who are showing up for no reason other than a comment about why this project is usually a good investment for some particular reason they believe, or going to the moon or whatever. And then, well, just nuke all them and move on, I guess.